right, what is going on, guys? It is time for another episode of the Chasing Waypoints podcast. Episode number 76. No, 76? No. Whoa. Wait a minute. Rewind. No, 76. Tony Palandrani. 77 today. Look at that. Already blending them together. Episode 77 of the Chasing Waypoints podcast today. 23 more to go. We're going to stick with the tradition. We're going to keep counting them down to 100 episodes. And I am looking forward to that one. So what are we going to do? I think we've got a pretty good posse going now. Trying to figure out, all right, where are we going? What are we going to do? How much rally raid and adventure stuff can we stick into this event, this gathering? It's going to be a gathering for sure. Got to do a meetup, right? In Southern California, summer weather. I think somewhere, the beach might be nice. Somewhere near the water would be kind of cool. What can we do? I mean, it's not like there's, no beaches here or anything like that. I think that would be maybe Fiesta Island? I don't know. We're going to have to figure this out. But before we figure that out, we're on today's episode. And we are in the Bivouac. This time around, we are in the Bivouac with Eliseo Garcia of NORRA. So, for those of you who don't know, the NORRA organization does put on the happiest race on Earth, known as the Mexican 1000, and also now, as a recent, the NORRA 500. So we're going to find out a little bit more about those events, and then another big one. If you guys listened to the episode not too long ago with Matt Sutherland, picking up the W at this event, well, we want to know more about it because they were racing rally bikes, roadbooks, and we want to know about that decision and what did they find out? That's the deal. That's what I want to know. Was it everything that they hope and dream? How was it from the organization standpoint? I've always worked with rally raids or the rally raids that I've worked on with all started there. So there wasn't like a new thing going on. That's just what they were. So definitely curious to hear a little bit more about this transition, and some of the history of the NORRA. Obviously a lot going on with that one. But if you guys didn't tune in to last week's episode with Tony Palandrani, getting started, one of the newcomers to the rally raid side of things, about 4 years though, but definitely worth a listen. He's a very accomplished rider. Was one of the first back. I met him at the San Quintin Baja Rally American Rally Originals training event, and so got a chance to catch up with him. And then before him was Chris Tavener, again another one that I met down at the Baja Rally American Rally Originals training event. So definitely looking forward to them and what they accomplished with this getting some more rally raid under. It sounds like Tony's going to be headed to the 6-day Baja Rally. Same with Chris. So curious to see how that goes for them and the training and what they're doing to keep up with that one. And then, of course, we've got all the guys from the American Rally Originals. Paul, Kyle, David, Mo, all those guys getting ready for Dakar. So definitely want to keep up with them and see what their training is like and what they've got going on. So turning the party down here. We are waiting for Eliseo to come online. We sent him the link. So let's see what we got. And before I forget, we have Caramel, the rally dog, soon to be rally. I put Caramel 4 paws, but maybe rally Caramel, the rally dog, Caramel Rally. I don't know, something like that. But anyway, she's bumping around the desk and running around in here. So if you hear her, I've got the treats ready to go. So we should be able to keep her at bay. But all right, with that being said, let's see. Let's take a look here. We are waiting for him to jump online, so it'll probably be here just a second. Let's take a look. So Mexican 1000, pretty cool. So what I know of the event, right? Before we get into the big part of it, right? What I know about the event is basically it's kind of like a rally style event. They do have bivouacs along the peninsula, running the entire length of the peninsula. And they have certain stops. The bikes and the cars are on different courses. They have different classes. And everybody that I've talked to about this event has always enjoyed it to the nth degree. And it was like, you gotta go. So definitely going to try and make it out to this event and here in the near future. But speaking of the near future, looks like we've got Eliseo on the line. Let me see. Eliseo.
Hello.
Hey. Hello. Hey, sir. Can you hear me? Check. Are you there? I hear what sounds like the ocean.
Hello?
Hey, Eliseo, are you there? Can you hear me? Sounds like we may have some technical difficulties here. Let's give it just a second here. We're texting here too at the same time. Let's see if he's... Should be able to hear me. Eliseo, are you there? You hear the dog from below. Hey, Eliseo. Let's see if we can get this here figured out. All right. Finally, a little bit of technical difficulty, but we're able to get it resolved. How are you, sir?
Fine, thank you. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Yeah, of course. No, so we talked to Matt Sutherland, and then I've talked to a couple other people, and they're all like, "You have to talk to Eliseo." You've
been talking to crazy people.
Well, I don't know. You know, this whole off-road thing, you got to be a little bit crazy.
Yes, I agree totally.
Yeah. Nice. So, okay. I mean, I like right away, happiest race on earth, Mexican 1000. Tell me a little bit about that and what the event is about.
Well, basically, it is a 5-day rally through the Baja Peninsula. We start in Ensenada and we finish in San Jose del Cabo. So the happiest race on earth. Why? Well, basically it is because we try to make it as fun as possible for everyone. We always try to, make everybody happy. And I think we've done a good job. Everybody thinks about it and they just think they had a good time with us. This year it was a bit of a challenge for bikes because the way that we used to do navigation for bikes was GPS based, and we had a road book, yes, and it had basically all the waypoints and tulips and dangers and markings and everything, but mainly riders were following a trail on a GPS. What happened is that they became lazy. We got to the point where they didn't even use the road book anymore, and they were just chasing dust and riding what they could see, and it got to the point that it became dangerous. So we were having a lot of accidents, and unfortunately, a rider passed away due to an accident a few years ago, and we started looking into how to make the event safer and more fun. So I think we did a good job. A few years later, we got the happiest race on earth, and it's working. It's fine.
Yeah, everybody I've ever talked to about the Mexican 1000, all the comments, all the stuff that I've ever heard has always been that it is a really, really good event. Always a lot of fun. You guys do it already before. It was kind of unique, right? You guys stop along the way. It's not a point to point.
Exactly. That's also one of the factors that make this a fun event, because it's not exhausting. It is exhausting. I got to be honest with you, because after 5 days of racing, you end up racing basically 250 to 400 miles every day. And it is exhausting, but it isn't as exhausting as a Baja 1000, which is a point-to-point race, and it is 1,000 miles. We usually do it in a way that we try to make it easy for everybody to race during the day and not at night. Bikes usually race in a completely separate course from the cars. Definitely there are some sections that are shared, but yes, mostly all racing for bikes is during the day. And I think the longest stage will be around 400 miles. So it is a challenge too. A lot of people might say that it's not as competitive as the car, for example, or Sonora Rally or any other competition rallies. And I agree with that because it's not as tough and it's not as competitive because you don't have any actual prizes like cash prizes or purse or money involved. But at the end, I can tell you that competition is competition. And, riders will start racing each other when they are getting after day 2 or 3, when they're too close. Definitely there will be a competition.
Yeah, I learned that a long time. You can't put 2 people on dirt bikes out in the desert and not expect one to try and go faster than the other. It just
exactly. Even if they're buddies and friends, mm-hmm. It gets to the point where it will be a competition.
Yeah, exactly. And having the breaks, having the stages where you're going to stop and do that stuff, for those guys, I'm sure like stage wins, things like that. If you guys are posting results, it's competitive.
Yes.
Whether they admit to it or not.
Mm-hmm. I mean, every day we post up the results for the day. We race exactly like any rally raid mm-hmm. with special stages timed and liaison stages or transit stages to go from one stage to the other. We usually try to do 2 special stages per day. Short ones sometimes, mm-hmm. Around 100 miles each one. Mm-hmm. And but at the end of the day, every rider will know exactly where they're sitting at. I mean, time-wise. And if they have any penalties, we're adding everything day by day. We try to make it as precise as we can. Thanks to the Stella tracker, we know if they missed any waypoint or C waypoint or anything that will need to be penalized or any speed zone. And it makes it easy for us to have updated information every day so they can plan their strategy for, every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they know their standings and they know what they got to get done that day.
Sometimes when there's, especially this year, when we switch from GPS-based navigation to full roadbook navigation, which was a huge step in safety mm-hmm. to start with and in fun. A lot of the teams were fighting us against switching. Mm-hmm. They were like, "Oh no, you're gonna take away the fun of NORRA." And everything's I don't want to do it if it's only roadbook. Mm-hmm. And we had only one entry that withdrew from what we had on the entry list because they didn't want it to do the Jimmy Lewis training because we tried to make it as easy as possible for everyone that was registered. And we said, okay, we're doing this for your own safety because we want you guys to be kind of actually knowing what's coming up ahead. So we want you to be trained by Jimmy Lewis, which is a guy that trains a lot of people that goes to the car and professional riders. So we want him to tell you how to do it, how to switch from GPS-based navigation to fully roadbook navigation. And then we got in touch with Matthew Glade, and Matthew also gave us a super deal on equipment because a lot of the teams did not have the right equipment to go into full roadbook navigation. So it was a transition. I think we accomplished a lot on the Mexican 1000 this year, but it's only the start. I think that this is going to grow huge. Once everybody knows that we're in full roadbook navigation, a lot of teams or a lot of riders are going to come down and, try it. It's not, like I said, it's not as tough as riding the dunes at Sonora Rally or going to Dakar or any other rally like that. It's basically, I call it like a stepping stone into rally roadbook navigation. Yeah. So I think this is a great way, and we don't feel embarrassed or bad about being like a stepping stone or being considered not as competitive as any other event because we know what we have. Mm-hmm. And that's how we are. We try to make you happy. We want you to enjoy, but also you're going to learn something that's going to help you to go and progress from an amateur to a pro rider in the future.
Yeah, it gets them started on the path. And, that's a very good point. There's two things. It's a really good point that it is a stepping stone and getting into this is a conversation I've had with other friends, is that not everybody wants to go sign up for Baja Rally or Sonora Rally as the first rally event that they ever do, because they feel like there's a lot of pressure there. And you guys have cultured and made an event that's everybody has so much fun at that. The transition to road books, I kind of figured there would be some people kind of pushing back on it. But what I heard was that by the end of the event, everybody was all about, like, the ones that were kind of like, by the end of the event, they were all about it and wanted more.
Yes, that is correct. Exactly. There was not a single rider that said, you know what, I'm not coming back because I didn't like what you guys did. Yeah. It was the opposite. Whoever was kind of fighting us, at the end, they were like, you know what, this was a huge jump into safety. I felt safer. And there were times where I was even riding faster than how I was riding before with the GPS trail. Mm-hmm. And, it's funny because the same guys that were fighting us, they were like, you know what, any monkey can chase a track on a GPS, mm-hmm. but not everyone can actually ride with a road book and don't get lost. Yep. Also, Kevin and Michelle Bush, they were sweeping bikes. They didn't call it sweeping bikes. They call it herding cats. Yes. Because they were kind of, helping everyone. If they got lost, they were not telling them where to go, but they were suggesting, if I were you, I would go back to the last waypoint that I know for sure that it was there, mm-hmm. reset my odometer and restart. And try to do it again and find out where did I get lost or stuff like that. So it was like a training session for them too, nice. On how to help people. Yeah. And but at the end, everybody was happy. And Matthew came to us and suggested that the way that we had the classes was not the actual right way to have a rally raid event, because rally raid events are a solo rider event mostly. And at NORRA, we had categories for teams. Okay. So you have a team like Matt Sutherland, like Matthew Glade. They were by themselves mm-hmm. riding against a team that has fresh riders every 100 miles. And they made a big statement by winning. And I think that also created the need for solo rider classes, which we will have on this next NORRA 500 event starting in the last of September. Mm-hmm. So we already have that created, and it's going to be on the next Mexican 1000 in April. So nice. We're kind of evolving.
Yeah. So that actually brings me to the next. So obviously, it sounds like it went really well. So it sounds like both the NORRA 500 and the Mexican 1000 are going to road books. That's just going to be the way forward?
Yes. All bike navigation will be done with road books. The course will be different. The NORRA 500 has a way of... it has a system that's kind of tricky and kind of different than what a usual rally is when you ride along with cars. So it will be 2 days of racing, Friday and Saturday, which will be, I think it's September the 30th and October the 1st. And we have two completely separated courses. One goes southbound of Ensenada near the beach, like on the Pacific Ocean. And the other one goes east towards the pine forest and the mountains. So one day, Friday, bikes will go south and do the beach run, while cars are on the other course doing the east loop, what we call it, through the pine forest and the hills. The next day, they will switch, and bikes will do the east loop and cars will do the south loop. So they will never be sharing the course at the same time. They will be racing simultaneously, but in two different loops. And each loop will be around 250 miles. So if you add up both days of racing, you got the NORRA 500. So it's kind of, crazy, but we tried it 3 years ago in 2019 for the first time. And it was a challenge for us promoters because we need to have the double amount of rescue effort, the double amount of checkpoints. Everything goes double because we got 2 hot courses racing at the same time. But it was fun. And the most important thing, it was safe. Mm-hmm. So we're planning on doing something similar. Obviously, changing the course every year to make it more fun, more attractive, challenging too, but never tough. It's not our goal to make it tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's sticking to the fun side of it. And it's very interesting that the safety thing is obviously is going to be a reoccurring theme. A lot of the motorcycle racers that I've talked to at the rallies, a lot of them actually kind of transitioned to rally because they felt that it was more motorcycle focused and that the organizations were more focused on their safety, where some of the bigger organizations seems to be kind of going by the wayside, and they're not paying attention to the bikes as much.
Well, I gotta be honest with you. I just watched a documentary from an Italian writer. Maybe you have seen it. It's in YouTube. It's all in Italian. Mm-hmm. That's the guy that got run over by Geniel de Villiers in this last Dakar. He shared his experience in the car. And, I saw how they get caught by the cars mm-hmm. in that rally, and it scared me. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't like to be a rider getting caught up by the fast cars in the car. There's mm-hmm. no respect at all. It was like way dangerous.
Yeah.
So we always try to prevent as much as we can fast cars from catching slow bikes. So that's why we try to separate the course as much as we can.
As much as you can. And so with the transition, I mean, just in general, the safety side of it, first event as a rally and roadbook navigation, the crashes, the medical, those kind of things. Did you guys see a decrease in that? I mean, was it a noted experience, like you could tell for sure, or it felt kind of the same? Yeah.
It was definitely an accomplishment. We had 2 major incidents. Mm-hmm. None of them required air evacuation. Mm-hmm. I think the most, dangerous accident was a rider that fell on south of San Felipe on day 2. Mm-hmm. He hit basically the ground with his helmet, and he had a concussion. Mm-hmm. And he was passed out for a bit, but I mean, he's okay right now. Mm-hmm. But that was basically, I think, the most dangerous situation that we had, and that was it. I mean, we used to, like, on the race before that Mexican 1000 was the NORRA 500 in 2021. Mm-hmm. We had, I think it was 16 bike entries, and 9 of them crashed.
Oh, wow.
That's how it was. I mean, they didn't have a clue on what was coming up ahead. Some of them were using lead nav with headphones or earpieces mm-hmm. inside of the helmet, and that was kind of helping because lead nav is a software or an app that we have that reads basically your road book and tells you ahead of time what's coming up ahead. Mm-hmm. Some of the riders will using it, but like I said, I mean, 9 riders fell down of their bike because, I mean, they didn't know that there was a ditch coming up or a rain rut or anything that could, make trouble for them.
Yeah, something that you would traditionally see marked in a road book. And not just
exactly,
and not just the down arrows, right? I mean, if anybody spent time out in the desert racing, most races there's a pretty much a standard for marking it with the arrows pointing down, and 1, 2, or 3 depending on how serious it is. But that's just one vehicle or one bike that goes off course away from being knocked down, and then it's no longer marked.
And you know what? At NORRA, we don't do any markings at all.
Oh. Okay.
We don't have any pre-running. The course is completely secret to obviously prevent pre-running. So you won't be able to see any marking. So you can get lost really easy if you don't have, the proper navigation tools. Yeah. So that being said, it is dangerous. If you don't actually navigate, it is dangerous.
Well, good. And I mean, in that, it slows it achieves the goal. It slows the pace down. I mean, Dakar's doing it. They're putting more notes and putting trickier directions on purpose to help slow the guys down. So it's not a bad thing.
No, not at all. And, cars have a GPS file and they have a road book. But the difference basically is that for cars, we have a different course every day compared to the bikes. So bikes, even if bikes download the GPS file for vehicles, they will not be on the same course and they will get caught because we got what we call navigation challenges in every stage. So if a bike is cheating following the car's course, if they are sharing some sections, they will get caught. But in the car's case, they have a GPS file with waypoints. Every waypoint is numbered to match the note or the tulip in your road book. So if you see, note number 45 in your road book and it says it's a ditch on left, when you see number 45 coming up in your screen on the GPS, that's a ditch on left. So your navigator will be able to tell you exactly what's coming up ahead if they match the road book with the GPS file. So we tried to make it as easy as possible for them. We once tried to go into full road book for cars, and our customers, they are definitely not into it. They were not ready by the time that Darren Skilton helped us that time. And before he was at Sonora Rally, he wanted to, try to grow the rally raid format in America. So we were both of us are give me one second.
Sure.
Listo. ¿Tu nombre? Eliseo.
Afirma aquí nomás al final.
Gracias.
Listo.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay, so both Darren and I are kind of what I can call like a rally nerd. We love this, and I would like to, have everything roadbook navigation all the time because I mean, I think it's way more fun. But our racers are not ready yet to do a full transition, and so that's why we have created the NORRA style, which is basically a hybrid between fully roadbook navigation and GPS. And we have no pre-running, which is something that not a lot of people has. But like, for example, if you check with Best in the Desert or any other promoters that don't have pre-running, they will provide a GPS file, but not a fully navigational GPS file. It's just like something that you can use not to get lost, but it will still be dangerous if you are not driving what you can see. In our case, you can go fast because the way that we do the markings and the road book, it's with the purpose of you going fast. But if you know how to use it and you know how to use the tools. So it's the same thing with the bikes. They were kind of fighting us against that because they said, okay, I'm not going to be able to actually read the road book and be able to ride the bike and be safe at the same time. But when the race ended, they changed completely their mind. And they said, you know what? It was fun. It was safer. And sometimes I was going even faster.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because that's in the, even if you're following a line on the GPS and you see the waypoints and you see the dots, I mean, on a bike, you can't run a big GPS. You can't run the 11-inch or 12-inch GPSs that they're running in trophy trucks. It just won't happen.
Exactly.
And so to pick up on a skull and crossbones or something, along the line, it's just too hard to do that. But on a road book, if you get to note 45 and then you see note 47 is 20 kilometers away, it's game on. It's time to follow the road, have fun. You know that there's really nothing in between. Just focus on what's there, and that's it. If there was, then note 46 is because there is a ditch, a rain rut, or something that needs your attention.
Yes, and you know what? One thing that we also did is we printed fully colored road books. Okay. Mike Shirley from Rally Navigator has been with us since day one. He's been developing Rally Navigator thanks to feedback from a lot of the promoters, and I've been always pushing for little new features and stuff. And when he came up with the fully colored road books, I mean, that was a game changer, because you have to somehow comply with the FIA regulations, and that you should deliver the road book every morning. That was one of the things that everybody was kind of fighting to, that they wanted to have the road book a day before or the night before so they could load it up, because some of the writers were kind of, I'm going to have a problem on how to load the road book. But Jimmy Lewis and Mike Shirley were every morning at 5 a.m. in the morning at the start, helping everyone. Nice. And that's something that I would like to say thank you, because, Matthew, Jimmy, and Mike Shirley, the three of them made this possible. It was not Eliseo. Eliseo is just the monkey that goes on the course and drops the waypoints and creates the road book. And then Jimmy edits those notes, and Mike and Jimmy, even Ricky Breivik went down and tested the road book for us. And but the brains behind everything were those three guys, and I think we owe what we did to them. Nice.
Well, yeah, and I did. It was funny. I saw the post from Jimmy Lewis with Ricky, and I go, and they're in Baja, and it didn't take me long to put two and two together. I go, I think they're on the NORRA course.
Yes. And I was supposed to go with them, but I got sick that week, and I had to stay home. But I was chasing them through the Stella tracker. Nice. And making sure that everything was working, and monitoring like race ops during the testing. And when they finished day 2 in Guerrero Negro, I had a dune section that it's hard to find dunes in Baja, and so I was kind of very proud of my dune section. And when I called Jimmy, he was in the hotel, and I said, "What do you think about the dune section?" He was like, "What dunes, dude?" Well, the dunes before Guerrero Negro. No, man, that's not dunes. That's camel grass. That's how we call them. That's a joke. And it was like, oh shit. But it's how you understand how huge these guys are ready to go through like actual real dunes. So, but it was fun.
Yeah, I remember hearing some of the stories of Dakar that it's like you couldn't look up far enough at the bottom of this dune to see the top of it. These huge, massive piles of sand, and so I'm sure they're used to some different stuff. Even in Sonora, I heard some of the comments of that was it was almost like a challenge, and they questioned whether anybody from the organization actually made it to the top of the dune to get the waypoint.
Or if they dropped it on like Google Earth.
On Google Earth, yeah. So it was like, there's no way. And some people, well, I went up the backside of it, and that was even worse. And then, they're trying different things.
I can tell you one thing. Darren is like a very dedicated person. And I can assure you, he was in the top of that dune. Yeah, he knows how to navigate.
That's the stubborn side. He's all, nope, we're going to the top of this thing.
Yes.
Whether these guys like it or not.
Yep. But that's what it is. I mean, that's what makes Sonora what it is. It's a challenge. And that's how it needs to be, because that, to me, is a training rally to go into the real deal, which is the car. And they have to make it tough so people understand, like the Madlocks when they went there, or Casey Curry, they actually train with that event.
Yeah. Yeah, like I mean, it's a stepping stone aside from it being one of the Road to Dakar events. So, of course, you're going to see the challenge is going to be there, and I'm sure maybe the FIM has some say in some of the course stuff. I don't know, the rules and some of the regulations. I do know that Darren does do a really good job of trying to run a really tight ship, something that's accurate, the timing, the liaisons, the entry into the start line, the start box, all of that stuff. Very, very, very cool.
Which are things that we are just learning right now. Mm-hmm. And it takes years to actually learn and teach our time control guys on how to actually do it the proper way and set up the finish line the way that it needs to be set up. And some things that we learned on this event was timing through the Stella tracker. We were not using it as a tool for timing, and for this next event, we're going to do a testing on timing through the waypoints. So that's something, and we're going to have a leaderboard, which will be live, and it fired up a lot of things that we haven't been doing to actually go do it.
Nice. Yeah, after seeing the result and how everybody turned around, I mean that to me is probably one of the more exciting parts, because you with so many people interested in the event or going to ride the event, and then the roadbook thing, to hear that only one person kind of said, you know what, yeah, that's not my style, is awesome. I mean, okay, cool. They understand what they like and what they don't like, but that everybody else stayed, and then at the end of the event, even the ones that were 50-50 believed in roadbook navigation. I mean, that's everybody that's doing rally stuff in North America. That's what they should be trying to do, what you guys did.
And, a close friend of the guy that didn't do it said that he regretted it, that he said, you know what? Oh, I should have been there. Yeah. So at the end, I think he's coming back next year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And see, that's the thing is that, like, I don't, a lot of people, I've been to the events, I've worked timing and scoring at some of the other events. And that's the thing. I don't know that a lot of people understand that. Is like, hey, you don't have to go out and be competitive. If you want to ride with your buddy and you guys want to tag team, or you guys want to run in a group of 3, I've seen that all the time. Yeah. And they flip a coin on who opens the waypoint because they're all lost, and they work together as a team, but on separate bikes, obviously. But there's nothing, you can do that. So I think anybody that's kind of curious about trying it, I think, what you guys have set up is actually a really good event, aside from that it was already developed to be fun.
Yes, I agree with that. Like I said, I think the level of competition is
melted away. Uh-oh. Did we lose him? He did tell me that he was at the border, so there might be some...
and fast rider. Matthew, too. I think we had 2 or 3 more riders that were on the top all the time. Mm-hmm. And definitely, I think that maybe out of the whole field, the top 5 will be actually, fighting for a podium. Mm-hmm. And they will be competitive. We've had Steve Hangeveld in the past to do it, Ricky Johnson, Scotty Bloom from Baja Rally. He did it a couple of times. Mm-hmm. Even Tim Morton did it the first time. And, riders that have been, racing for a long time too.
Yeah. And so this is, interesting. If you guys have been doing the event with the GPS style up until this year's event, how many, like, before the top group, like the guys, the fast guys, do you recall like how many it would be? Was it like the top 3 guys were always the ones finishing in that order, 1, 2, and 3? And this year, did it grow? Did you guys see like now it was like the top 5 were actually?
Well, basically, I think that it was kind of faster now with the roadbook than with the GPS. That was my general feeling. I think we had more people close to a podium finish now before, but we had, rally pros coming down and doing it.
Yeah.
So maybe that could be the reason too.
Yeah.
And those rally pros were not interested in NORRA when it was GPS. So that's why I'm kind of curious on how it will be resulting in the next Mexican 1000 when we have, instead of 5 rally riders, actual rally riders, what about 20 of them together?
Yeah. And I mean, and it's, something when I was with the Baja Rally organization and with them, that was one of the things on my wish list was go down the peninsula, but you guys are already doing that. So yes. I feel like I would agree that I think that it's going to grow and you guys are going to see more entries. And I think that like what you were saying is that more people closer to the podium is an indicator of the rally sport. You have to be able to navigate. So because you have to be able to navigate, that means the guy in front of you on that factory bike can just as easily make a mistake as you can. And that will cost them time. And now all of a sudden, that it's just this ladder effect. And so, I've always believed that you go out to a desert, you go out to the Baja 1000, and if Colton Udall, Mark Samuels is there, and say you bring back Hengeveld and he's there, well, that the race is now for 4th because those was the top 3 right there. But now you put a road book in front of them,
and Johnny Campbell,
and then Johnny. If it's Johnny Campbell, then the overall is done for. We know it's a bike, but you can tell. You show up to a score event, and you know who the top 3 are going to be at the finish line, pretty much. But you go to a rally event, and that group gets a lot bigger. It's not as easy to figure out. Okay, well, these are because you're literally one navigation mistake away from losing a couple of minutes, not losing the race, but just losing a couple minutes, and that's enough to make a difference. So
the word is not that's what the keyword is. The whole friend or game running, because when you tell about before the event pre-run.
Yeah, not having the ability to pre-run or do anything. Everybody's on the same. Oh, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
I think I lost you for a bit, but
yeah, there we go. We're good. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, not having pre-running, not having everybody's on the same playing field, and yeah, I mean, even if they are rally races, the only thing they're going to have is a little bit more road book experience. But otherwise, and are you guys going to, with having a solo class, would you guys be dividing it up like a rally pro versus a rally 1 or something like that?
Yes, we will have Matthew shared with us a lot of the experience, and he suggested we should have what we call Rally Pro category, which will be open bike, solo rider, unlimited everything, and amateur rally, which will be, that's one thing that we are still writing the rules. Chris Wilson, our tech director, was going to call Matthew to get his feedback on. I think Matthew said any rider with more than 3 rally raid events should not be considered an amateur anymore. So that's what we need to define. What's going to be the how do you say it? The requirement for you to be able to register as amateur, because we don't want any pro riders at amateur.
Yeah. You want to protect the class, and for the guys getting into it.
Yes.
Yeah, so nice. No, I completely agree with that.
And it should be fair for everyone.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And it is. And rally is the great equalizer. That road book levels the playing field. Everybody's on the same one. So now it really is 100%. And not only is it bike setup and riding ability, but it's now navigating ability. And that's a 50-50 between those two. You could have the best bike out there. You could have be in the best physical condition and be the absolute worst at navigation, and you're just not going to make it. Or you could be the best navigator and you have a bike that just won't make it to an end of a stage and it's just not going to work. Or you're going to notice that at the end of the 5th day, that last stretch, you're tired, you're beat up, you're not in that shape. So it definitely opens it up to more people to share in that spotlight, the top 10, the top 5.
Yes.
Because of that.
Yes.
Nice.
And like Matthew suggested, I mean, it's so unfair to ride against a team of 4 riders that will be splitting the course every 100 miles, and you're all by yourself doing everything for 5 days. So he had a big point on that, and that's the main reason why we said, you know what, we should do it for the next time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that I agree with that. That traditionally rally, that's just how it works. Or if, I don't know. There's other way, dividing it up and all that. But no, the challenge is being able to ride it and stages. You know what? I just got to make it to the end of the day. I'm going to be able to park this thing, rest, and good to go. At least get a little bit of.
If you don't have to fix anything.
If you don't. Aha. That's very true.
Yes.
Yeah. Depending on how much work you got to do that night. So. But no, I love it. I mean, I really was glad to see that you guys did that, and it was huge news because I know, and through the years, and talking to some of the guys in the industry, like Mike Johnson and talking to them, like I know that the last time you guys went roadbooks, it just, a lot of people didn't really like it and they put their foot down. And now I think with what Ricky Brabeck has done and with Jimmy Lewis has done and the curiosity in people, it's just continued to grow. So I think it's like perfect timing that you guys, on your guys' part, to get this going.
Yes.
So nice.
Give me 1 second, okay?
Sure. Yeah, I'll go ahead and mute it. So yeah, this is, I'm absolutely looking forward to more of this. I mean, you're looking at a different event, a happy event because all of the stops, if you guys, he's on mute, he's handling something really quick. But, if you look at the Instagram stuff and you look at some of their posts and some of the videos and all of this stuff, you'll see that the atmosphere is very different. It's more of I don't want to say party, but it's not as uptight and just like super serious and game face. And, there's people that want to be competitive and they will always be competitive no matter what event you go to. But something like this, you can see it. The vibe is just completely different. So I'm looking forward to it. And especially, you got the NORRA 500 coming up, being road book. I'm really interested in that. I want to go and see. And, now in my mind, I'm thinking, maybe I need to change my vacation days. And instead of going to the KTM Adventure Rally, maybe I need to go down to the NORRA 500. So, yeah, I think we're definitely going to see some changes.
You're getting.
Yep. Eliseo, you back? Uh-oh. It's cutting off. We've got the robot thing. I think are you there? Oh. All right. Looks like he dropped off. That must be. Oh, I am not done recording. What happened? More technical difficulties. I think this is going to be the show with the most technical difficulties. Oh, there we go. Let me go ahead and mute that. You guys don't want to listen to the elevator music while I resend him the link really quickly here. There we go. All right, now jump back to the other one. So I use Anchor for those of you guys that don't know already. They're the ones that was at elevator music in the background. But basically, that allows me to record this stuff in HD for you guys, so it doesn't sound like we're on the phone, other than when the cell reception cuts out. But I think, I'm like I said, I'm excited. I'm thinking like, okay, well, I love the idea that it's here, it's close. We've got more races now. If you really think about it, okay, well, I want to go down and I want to get into Rally Raid. You've got the NORRA 500 2-day event, right? You're going to do 2 separate courses, roadbook, and then you've got the NORRA 1000. You've got the Baja Rally 6-day. I know they're working on the Catavina Rally. I know they're working on, I believe, another San Quintin rally event as well. And then, of course, you've got the Sonora Rally. So now you're all of a sudden out of nowhere you could put together a whole year of racing rally here in North America. And that's just Baja. Now you throw in events like the Kota Rally, right? Then what is it? Wyoming Tulip Festival. I mean, there's like different things going on. There's a lot of different, there's trainings, there's all sorts of stuff. So if you want to get into rally, I mean, it's like, what's stopping you at this point? You know, literally a phone call to Matthew over at Rally Moto Shop and he'll get you set up. And if you got questions, I can show you how, you know, what I'm doing. I've got a rally light build going on in the garage. You know, we talked to Tony Palandrani last weekend and that's what he rides. He's, you know, basically just in for the rally light stuff. So I see this, you know, only continuing to grow. I see that there's more opportunities now, and it makes it a lot easier to get into the event. It's just a matter of getting into, you know, just saying, okay, here's the bike I'm going to run, and I'm going to make it happen. So I'm definitely curious to see what happens with the future of the event. Let me tell him here. I just sent the link. All right. So, I mean, it's like I said, plenty of opportunity to do it. Yeah, let me see. Eliseo, are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
All right. Yeah, I was just saying, I'm thinking I'm supposed to go to the KTM Adventure Rally, but suddenly I'm thinking maybe it would be more fun to go to the NORRA 500.
Well, you can do two things. You can do NORRA 500, then rest for one day, then go to San Quintin and start the Baja Rally, because we are right next one to each other. Scotty was willing to do like a challenge between the two events. We couldn't get it done, but I think that if anybody wants to, you know, do the whole experience, you can do 2 racing days with NORRA and then go and do the Baja Rally, which is a 5-day event. Yeah. And that's a completely different terrain. It's south of San Quintin, and I know they're going to have a bitching course too. Yeah. So you can do that too. I mean, it's going to be a whole week, but it's possible.
That would be pretty awesome, because I know it's the Baja Rally. It's going to be the 6-day Baja Rally, so 6 days there and then 2 days with you guys. So yeah, there's some. See, we're getting closer to being able to do our own Dakar.
Yes.
little by little, we're inching to it. You know, so
I saw Scott Whitney shared with us on ADV Rider what his idea of Dakar USA was, and it was kind of cool. Anybody that goes into ADV Rider could find it, and someday maybe, I don't know.
You know,
like I said, I think we're not ready yet for that, but I see many more Americans in the car every year. So even though the French don't like Americans.
No. Yeah, you know, I I believe that. You know, I know that there's you know, I don't know, or they give them more weight. I don't know. I just was not impressed that day that they canceled the stage at the gas stop because everybody said that it was too rough. And Daniel Sanders, and Daniel Sanders called everybody princesses. And
yes, I saw that on the documentary that I told you. I can't remember the name of this writer, but I know it's Italian, and I'll try to see if I can find it so you can see that. Yeah. And you can actually see a lot of the insides of how the car is made on the rider's perspective. Like I said, he got run over by De Villiers in the second day. I think it was the second stage, and how he fixed the bike and how he made it to the Bivouac, and how De Villiers came and apologized and said, you know what, you're so tired, and I'm going to find a way to help you. And they got his own mechanics to find a way to repair the bike and get it ready for him the next day so he could go and rest.
Nice.
So, yeah, but definitely, like I say, it's when they canceled that stage because it was too rough. That Italian rider said, you know what? Maybe it's rough for the, the actual pro riders. But to me, it didn't look like really tough. No. It's like, but I don't know. I mean,
yeah, that was interesting because I talked to a couple of people that I talked to, but Mason Klein was one of them, and other comments I heard from other riders, and they said it was no worse. It was actually not even as bad as a typical best in the desert race start. After it's been pre-ran or after there's tracks already on the ground. They said it was nothing worse than that. Mm-hmm. And actually it wasn't even that. And so I just think that for a lot of riders and a lot of people, and especially in those events, is a couple of days in, nerves, tired, whatever it is, even though it's right at the beginning of the event or getting closer to the halfway point, nobody is telling you to ride that fast. If it's too rough, slow down, leave those speeds for those guys. That's, on the factory bikes, that's what they want to do. That's what they get paid to do. So I don't know, but I'm glad to hear that you guys, as far as the terrain goes and all that stuff, you guys try and keep it mellow, because I know in Baja it's tough to find the mellower stuff.
Yeah, we call that the NORRA course. And the thing is, the NORRA course will always be fun, challenging somehow, mm-hmm. but not like really tough. Mm-hmm. And it will be tough in maybe some sections during the day, because there is no other way to go besides that one, but it will be limited. The documentary that I was saying, it's called Un Sogno Chiamato Dakar, like in Italian, Un Sogno Chiamato Dakar.
Okay.
It's posted by Rally POV. Okay. POV as in Victor, mm-hmm. in YouTube. Just look for it, okay. And you will like it. Like I said, it shows you things that you don't actually see every time that anybody goes to the car.
Yeah, nice. Well, and that's always the cool part, right? Seeing it from the other side of it. The things that we don't understand. And that was actually in talking to Tony Palandrani about it, is that we don't get to see, or was it Chris Tavener I was talking to, but we don't get to see a lot of the other stuff, right? We get to see what the top riders are doing. Our news is fed to us by Red Bull TV, and what the Dakar chooses is newsworthy. And they're so strict on GoPros and footage and stuff like that we don't get to see a lot of that, So when you get a documentary like this, it's solid gold, because now you get to see, okay, here is the other side of it.
Yeah, I spoke with a few writers that have done it, mm-hmm. and they said the same thing. They said if you slow down enough to get caught by the fast cars, it's dangerous. It's like, because I was asking them about safety, it was like, what is the car doing for protecting bikes? And they all said the same thing: nothing. They're not doing anything. They don't care about the bikes. It's like, so it was like, I had a different picture.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were kind of more worried about it.
Yeah.
And no.
And then it's interesting, because then you get stories like, things I've heard with like Robbie Gordon, right? Everybody, a lot of people, I'm not going to say everybody, but a lot of people view Robbie Gordon as a loose cannon. And they see him over there in the Dakar and then jumping and doing the donuts and putting on a show for the people, right? That's just what he does. He's, but then when
That's
comes
being Robbie.
Yeah, he's being Robbie. But then what they don't see is that when he goes to make a pass on a bike, he gives them all the room in the world. Mm-hmm. He knows, I can get this thing up to 140 miles an hour. I got no problem. That bike's barely going to do 110. So he goes way around and gives a lot of room.
And usually the fast cars will cut the slowest bikes. So mm-hmm. those bikes might do 100.
Yeah.
If the rider is like in good shape and he's actually riding the bike. But when you get caught, you're not in good shape, or your bike is not in good shape, and you're not going to be riding fast. So you're going to go maybe 70, 80, and you're going to get caught by a car going 130 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you can see on that documentary, how the cars, it's wide open. Yeah, it's wide open desert, but you can see how the cars pass, and they're really, really hauling us.
Yeah. So, that's not, it's not safe at all, to be doing that. Like, it'd be one thing if they stayed wide and you could visually see that, hey, I'm not going to waste my time trying to get close to you, or you're on my line. I'm just going to go around you, way around you.
Yeah, but the rider doesn't even have the chance to look back and see that the Sentinel just beeps and then boom, it goes by.
Yeah,
because they're coming so fast.
Yeah, I don't think that's safe. Speaking of safety, so I got a last question for you. What do you think about big bikes, the adventure bikes, the 700s, the 790s? Going back to the Dakar or Rally Raid?
At NORRA, we have a multi-cylinder class, and looking at them, how they struggle sometimes through the Baja roads, it's a challenge just to be able to ride the bike in Baja. I couldn't imagine that going into actually Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, if you talk to them, there was one rider, Victor Avitia, on this race, that he did it on a multi-cylinder. And the way that he manages to ride the bike, it's incredible, because you could see it doesn't actually have a lot of suspension. It bottoms out really easy. And but he handles it, and that's one thing that makes them special. And I think that everybody deserves the right to be there. It's like sidecars, motos with sidecars. We had a few in back in the back years of NORRA. Now for the next edition, I'm pretty sure that we're going to have one sidecar registering, because they want to finish. No bike with sidecar has finished a NORRA event in the past, so they want to be in the history and say, okay, we're the first bike with a sidecar to finish.
Nice.
And we had the Vespas came down, and two Vespas did the Mexican 1000. It sounds crazy, because you would say, how can a Vespa finish a Baja event? Well, they did. Sometimes when it was really rough, they had to go out of the stage, and they got penalized for not finishing the stage, because it was kind of really late for them, because they were kind of slow. But at the end, they did more than 80% of the entire course, which is honorable enough to say they did finish.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It is not an easy feat. And that's the thing. Some of the Baja roads, that's there'll be great, big, wide open, all this stuff. And then all of a sudden there's a washout, and you're scratching your head going, this may be a little bit more difficult,
Or it gets rocky, and then, you start going sideways and knocking the pan on your bike on the bottom, or stuff like that. It's like, you never know what's coming around the corner in Baja.
No, I remember back when we used to race 5/1600 and score, and I remember when you would get up to Mike's Sky Ranch and you went around the hotel, and you came around that corner, and there was the rock with the arrow painted on it, and you were supposed to go up it.
Yep, still there. I went through there last month.
Nice. Yeah. See, so it's like, you got up there and you're like, man, that was a lot of fun. And then all of a sudden it was like, this does not look like fun.
Well, it is what it is. It's like what you said, when they stop that stage in Dakar, and some of them will say, hey, it was going to be fun. But it depends on the way you see that.
Yeah. Yeah. Others, there you go. It's a nightmare for them, but not everybody is Paul Torres on a 700, so.
Yes.
Nice. Well, cool. Well, that's, I'm like literally seriously thinking about it, because I'm scheduled to go down to the Baja Rally and hang out with those guys and do some stuff down there. So, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe skip KTM and then go down with you guys and,
You can come down anytime. Just let me know ahead of time so I can get everything ready for you.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I appreciate that. But yeah, so that one is, again, September 30th, October 1st, NORRA 500?
Yes, it will be. Tech inspection will be September the 29th.
Okay. Thursday.
And race day 1 will be the 30th. And then race day 2 will be October the 1st. And the awards will be October the 2nd. Mm-hmm. And that's when you need to hit the road south to San Quintin to go to do the Baja Rally.
To do the Baja Rally. Okay.
Yeah, I think the Baja Rally starts on the 3rd.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's, I think the tech inspection is on Monday, and then it goes Tuesday.
Yeah, that's the 3rd.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it's going to be a busy week.
Yes, but, I agree with that.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's all in fun. It's all about having fun. So,
yes.
Nice. All right, and then so I'll drop the website, right, NORRA.com?
Yeah, NORRA.com, really easy.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I'll have that link in the description for this episode, along with a specific link to the information on the 500. And then do you guys already have the date for next year's Mexico 1000, or are we still working on that?
We will announce that this week.
Oh, perfect.
We are ready. We are ready to announce it. Mm-hmm. So the press release will go out, I think, tomorrow.
Oh, awesome.
I'm pretty positive. Yeah.
Okay. I got to make sure. I'm pretty sure I have the podcast at Chasing Waypoints on your mailing list, but I'll make sure it's on there before I close shop tonight. But perfect. Excellent. So, well, I really appreciate you taking time. I know you guys are always busy and doing stuff and getting ready for the next event. So I appreciate you taking time.
I really appreciate your invitation, and I look forward to meeting you. And whenever you want to come down, just let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. All right. So that was Eliseo Garcia from the NORRA organization. So I'm excited. I mean, it's like it's been talked about. It's been said, rally rate is growing. But to see an event like this, especially an event that a few years back tried to go full road book and met with adversity, now to go back and revisit that for the motorcycles and people being in and up for it, I think that's a very big deal. And I think that it is a very good indicator of how our industry, how the rally industry here is actually starting to grow and gain speed, gain momentum, and start moving forward. So I'm up for it. I cannot wait to see this next event, see how many riders go, and then if they're going to be dividing up the classes, because like you mentioned, Matthew did bring up a good point. You're doing this as a solo rider and you're trying to make it happen all by yourself, and to have a group of riders breaking up the course, I don't know. Maybe they change it. Maybe there's something that they'll do is where it'll be like, well, okay, that's the team, but you got to do one rider per, and you're not going to allow, that's going to be its own thing. So maybe you only get a chance to do that in the amateur side. And then once you get up to the rally pro side, now you have to do it all by yourself. So I don't know. There's a lot of things that can be done, but the biggest thing is it sounds like they've got a great format. They know the roads that they're picking. They're picking them purposefully and making sure everybody has a good time. And like you said, they obviously saw a huge decline in the number of incidents, race-related incidents that, were there. It's a motorcycle event. It's a car event. It's dangerous. There's always going to be that chance. But to be able to see a reduction and be able to basically connect the dots from going from GPS to roadbook, that's absolutely huge. So I'm absolutely looking forward to more and getting some more information and getting all sorts of stuff. I don't even know. I'm just looking forward to it. Is it September yet? Maybe not. Well, anyway, in the meantime, don't forget, keep it shiny side up. All right, that is a wrap for the Chasing Waypoints podcast this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you heard. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and a bunch of others. Also, follow us on social media You can find us on Facebook under Chasing Waypoints, Instagram Chasing Waypoints _official, and of course, the YouTube under Chasing Waypoints. Hope everybody has a good week. We will see you guys for the next episode. Remember, shiny side up, and don't forget to tag us. We want to see where you guys are riding and what you guys are up to. Have a great week.